Today is Wednesday, April 12th, 2017. Welcome to the Survivor Fans Podcast. I'm Joanne.
And I'm Stacy.
And this is our recap of Survivor Game Changers Week 6.
This episode's titled, What Happens on Exile Island Stays on Exile Island. That was brought to us by Debbie, just as we suspected. And she says it very early on in the episode, too, right?
Yes, she does.
Yeah, within the first few minutes. Okay, previously on Survivor, at Exile, Debbie is in luxury with Cochran. At Mana, Brad is working his way to the top. At Nuku, the plan's to blindside Sandra, but Ty's paranoid. Ty tries to target Ozzy. Sandra's out, and Debbie's in. There are 14 left. Okay, so no big surprises there. I don't think there's any rewriting going on or anything like that.
Nope.
That was straightforward. Okay, it's night 16. We're back at Nuku. Debbie says that tribal was scarier than Exile.
She's playing that pretty good. And
Way better than I expected.
Oh, way.
So I have to acknowledge that she didn't, at least as far as we can tell, she didn't blow the whole Exile Island secret, and I was just sure she would.
Cochran said she's smart. So
she said her lips
playing it.
are sealed, and she gave us the title of the episode there. Yeah, she was telling them there was no flint at Exile, which I'm sure was probably true. So
she could make up all
very
kinds
believable.
of stories.
Very, very believable. She didn't have to make anything up. That's more than likely true. No flint there on Exile.
Yeah. She would have no need for it on the boat.
Right.
So.
Ozzy was worried at Tribal, and Ty says that he's terrified at terrible at Tribal, which I think most of us would agree. He is indeed terrible at Tribal Council.
Well, and Debbie let it know where she stood in, trying to say, hey, it was terrible. No, don't go after Ozzy. I was on the edge of my seat.
Looking through her fingers, sure.
Yep, I thought, okay, well played. Good way to tell Ozzy, hey, I'm on your side. Because, Ty can be wishy-washy anyway.
Well, it wasn't just Ozzy. I think she was aligning herself with the majority.
With the majority, yes.
So that part, that's always a good strategy there. Yeah, Varner tells us he was very unhappy. He was ready to punch those people in the throat.
Yeah, that's pretty
intense.
That's intense, yes.
Yeah.
Wanting to punch people in the throat.
Prison fighting, yes.
Okay, and Zeke apologizes to Varner.
For keeping him out of the loop, yep.
And Varner tells Zeke, I would have voted with you guys.
Yeah,
I don't think that's true.
You don't think he would have wrote her name down? I think he totally would have.
Not unless he knew for sure how everyone was voting, if they had any chance.
He would have, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
It wouldn't have taken a lot to convince her.
She would have written his name down if it really came to...
Yes.
Though she said she wouldn't have.
Yeah, I don't believe that for a minute.
Okay. In the right circumstances, anybody will write anybody's
I was surprised what Zeke said here, too. He said, I'm working with you for the final 3.
Yeah, and that he was sincere about that, though.
Seemed to be. I mean, you don't know, and certainly events transpire later that lead you to a different conclusion, but it was pretty interesting to see at this point, and that's a good strategy to have, right?
And Varner said, okay, but no more lies.
Yeah.
Though we see that, yes, Zeke might have been sincere in that moment, but as we know...
Things change.
It changed. Mm-hmm. And when it came down to, if it's Varner or Ozzy, then I have a different opinion.
Okay, it's day 17 now, and it's time for an award challenge.
Reward challenge.
Award challenge.
Why award instead of reward?
Because I like Liam's terms better. I like award challenge and
I didn't
community
hear him
challenge.
Say award challenge.
You're missing out on these
goodness.
Liamisms. Yes, well, it's a pizza reward.
Ooh.
10 pizzas plus soda, and you could see it has an effect on everyone.
And Stacy had to order pizza to be delivered right in the middle.
I'd made my decision when I saw the preview, the commercial. And I thought, well, I'm going to have some pizza while I'm watching Survivor. So, yes, I did. I took advantage of the awesome little Domino's app and got one queued up. And they were telling me, okay, Janet has prepared your pizza. Janet's put it in the oven. She's double checking it. Perfecto.
I got an update every
And Ronald is
break.
on the way. And I really like they've got this option for thin crust. It reminds me of actually a different pizza chain. Pizza Hut used to be thin and crispy, or thick and chewy, I think was their motto. And I always loved that thin and crispy. Well, Domino's will make that now. You get to choose, and I get that cracker thin crust. And
I used to be one of those who just pick the topping off the pizza and leave most of the crust anyway. But this is so thin, I don't have to do that.
Yeah, it's really good, and it's not overloaded with at least with pizza dough carbs. Yeah.
Yeah.
There are definitely carbs there. Anyway, I quite enjoyed my pizza. And yes, I was looking forward to it as we were headed into the pizza reward. 10 pizzas. There's more than enough for everybody to have their own.
Did you like the number one that they asked for samples?
Yeah, can I have a bite?
And 2 that Probe said, no you
sample.
Cannot.
Denied. Yeah, that was...
You either win it or you don't get anything.
Yeah, I like that.
I was Jeff, that's...
Yeah, you got to work for it. Dig deep. There's pizza at stake.
I almost think it would have been worse if you'd have had just a little bitty taste and then had to leave it be.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine passing around a slice and taking a bite off of it at first, but then I thought, no, when you're hungry, that doesn't matter.
If you were out there, you know you would have.
And I had a pizza faux pas here at home that helped me remember. Yes, exactly. I would have eaten and taken a bite if there was a sample. So I got my plate, and it came during the challenge, and then I got my tipped the driver and filled my plate up, ran over here, and promptly dumped 3 pieces in the floor.
Oh, is that what you were doing over there?
And I scooped them up and ate them, because that didn't matter. It was good pizza. So, yeah, I would have eaten
we
after
have a cat
everyone.
now, right?
Yeah, the cat could have, but no, that's my pizza.
Okay, well.
All right, what did you think of the challenge?
I don't know, I'm still stuck on the pizza.
We've seen them do this before, where they've got a coordinated go around and unravel the ropes, uncross them basically to get the key.
Yeah, as soon as I saw... You
had an opinion right off the bat.
Right off the bat, Ozzy will win this for them.
Even though the whole tribe participates.
Ozzy could do this challenge by himself.
Yeah.
And win. He doesn't even need them.
He coordinates great with the ropes, the way they uncrisscross them.
They did really well with that.
Get the key. Yeah, the whole tribe did really well. And then they built the ladder so Debbie could crawl up and unlock the lock to get the balls. And then they went over and Ozzy got to work.
And Cirie climbed for the other tribe. Mm-hmm. And Hali, Sierra, and Michaela did the ropes.
Right.
They
were having trouble. Yeah, they were definitely. Yeah, the Mana tribe, the Nuku Mana tribe, was having difficulty with this challenge
Just
for sure.
the Mana tribe.
Okay, that's the Mana tribe. Yep.
Okay, so Ozzy does win for the tribe.
He made it look easy. I love that the catapult, the seesaw kind of thing, where they've got to. That they used to launch the balls into the 5 nets that are mounted on the wall there.
Yeah, I saw that.
Seemed to get it
he'd be good at this.
Yeah, he got that dialed in really quick. So he had their 5 before Brad. I think Brad had 1 from Mana.
Had 1.
That was it.
Yep.
It was over.
5-1,
Pizza.
done. Pizza.
Yeah.
So
it had an impact on Mana, right?
Really,
all
had
those
an
heads
impact.
were down. Yeah.
They can say it's not just the food, but that's what sparked the whole
it sort of
cycle of
definitely triggered, set it off.
Even Sierra, I was surprised to see her kind of,
Well, and Cirie
get all droopy
had a confessional. She said, she's breaking down under these circumstances and really could have used that pizza bump.
Well, the older you get, the harder things are on you anyway.
I see.
So
we get some ominous horns. They're over there at the Mana tribe, day 17. You can tell things aren't going well. And I think it was Sierra said, they got 10 pizzas.
Yeah.
Really bummed.
10 pizzas and cold Coke. That'd almost been... I'm not even a big, soft drinker, but that would have been...
Yeah, that sugar from that.
Especially with pizza.
That would do you.
You have to have at least a little Coke with pizza.
Yeah, or beer. Some people love to have beer with their pizza.
I hate beer.
Yes, that's not you. We've established that.
I don't even like
to
to
go check the
smell
level
it.
on the audio now with that.
Okay, sorry.
This kicks off The Game is Hard. This is what we saw in the Next Time on
Yeah.
Survivor, where they were crying.
And everybody just kind of went there to...
I think Aubry took them there, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's... Oh,
Well-
no, it was some... Who else was it? Was it Ciera?
Sierra,
Yeah, she started it. She said
Well,
that she
from what
cried...
we saw, yeah.
From where we come in with the camera view. She said that she cried before she went back out there because it was so hard. And Aubry said, yeah, me too. I don't think
Well-
we've heard people talk about crying before they go back out.
well,
they've
I
been
really
traumatized.
liked Aubry sharing that, she really couldn't explain to people when she came back. It was really hard. Everybody's like, but you're different. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't easy. She said she just couldn't explain what happens to you unless
Didn't
you've been
have
out there.
words.
And that's why these people bond together, even if they don't like each other in the
Sure,
game.
it's like any group through a traumatic experience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's just something about that. We've seen it over and over again. And then Brad shares, and I thought he was
Troyzan, too.
Yeah, I thought
They both said they were crying.
Yeah, and Brad talks about Monica at times, but it seemed very, very genuine, and that he had a much greater appreciation because he only played 12 days last
Yeah.
time, and she lasted 39, so he really didn't
He was sitting right beside
understand.
someone who had gone 39.
exactly.
I don't know if he realized that or not, but
Well,
it was
and
more about him telling his Monica story.
I'm sure it was in part strategy for both Aubry and Cirie.
Wait.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
There's someone who's not chiming in that we don't want to overlook.
Oh, well.
And there was no audio for this person, so it might be easy to miss it, especially if you're taking notes.
Okay.
But they cut to Michaela, and she's laying down on her belly in the sand, flicking the sand with a little bamboo twig or something. So she was not crying. No tears from Michaela that we got to see.
Well, yes, they're on day 17, but that's the longest she's been in the game.
Yeah, she's like, I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. And so,
I don't know what you're crying about.
And she's
but-
young. So,
yeah.
She's got,
Well, so's
got
Aubry.
energy.
Yeah.
She's not as young as Michaela, I don't think. Anyway, thank you for pointing that out.
I didn't want to overlook that.
Yeah. And so what do you think? Was it mostly strategy? I thought there was sincerity in there as well, especially for Aubry. But there had to be strategy for both Aubry and Cirie to want to get closer to Brad.
Yeah, you can do both.
Commiserating with.
You can be sincere and you can be...
Absolutely.
You can know that it also has value in the game. And Culpepper is one that shows that. I thought you were going to ask me, was he being sincere?
No, I thought he was totally sincere.
Because you have to be careful. Because he'll turn around and tell you that, like in his first season, he was like, oh no, I got John eaten out of my hand. He'd have a moment like that with one of the castaways and then tell someone else, oh no, I've totally got them. I know how to manipulate them. So I'm willing to agree with you that this was sincere, but he also will turn around and give you moments and he didn't frame it that way when he gave the summary in the confessional. He said, hey, I think we've got the majority here.
Well, he did say he felt much closer to them now. And, because they bonded over something.
Right?
Does make a difference. Doesn't mean he wouldn't vote him out or them him. I mean, after all, they're all there to win the $1 million.
Sure. We're going to talk more about that.
I do think that was a very bonding moment for them.
Yeah. And then we get some happy music at day 17 over at Nuku. Cheers. It's time to gobble down some pizza. Those are some big old
Yeah.
pieces they were munching on, too. Zeke had a giant slice. It looked like it was about a fifth of the total pizza. He was chomping on a Hawaiian, looked like pineapple and ham on that Canadian bacon.
Did anyone else notice all the scraped up shoulders? Like right on the shoulder bone? It looked like
You talking about
Debbie,
Troyzan?
Troy, Ozzy.
You think the ropes cut him up
I don't know.
when they were going through the net?
I don't know,
before
but
the
they
end?
they all, it looked red in the same areas.
Yeah, I can't really see
I didn't
that
look
as
at
well.
but no, you can't. But anyway, I just wondered if anybody else saw that. Well, I'll go back and look sometime this week and see if I see any before they
Okay.
went to the challenge.
Yeah. Might ask. We might ask about it in the interview tomorrow too.
Looked
So-
like great pizza they were chomping on.
When he showed it at the reward challenge, it didn't honestly look like that great a pizza. Although it's like Survivor. Usually, any pizza is good pizza, even though that didn't look like the best. And hopefully they, the ones that sat out in the sun weren't the ones they actually had to eat. Maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe.
Those probably were
maybe they swapped
empty
them.
boxes,
Yeah,
hopefully.
exactly. Yeah.
And they delivered them to camp or something for them.
Or at least gave them the piping hot fresh ones there when they got them back to camp.
They showed them the one that's sitting out there waiting for the
But
chicken.
in any case, it looked like they had some good pizza. And Varner tells us at this point that looks like he needs to throw some shade on Ozzy. Now's the time.
Yep.
And they show a snake.
He's getting worried.
Snake crawling up a tree there. And then it cuts to Varner talking to Sarah. And
you'll need me after the merge.
Yeah, got to make some plans.
Well, and Sarah seemed to be looking at everything, taking things in.
Yep.
She did that with Troy as well.
Yeah.
She's looking for other angles and avenues.
Although her
playing.
Engagement with Troyzan seemed more ham-fisted than this one. This one seemed a little more subtle.
Yeah, but she might have felt more powerful over there.
Yeah, maybe. But she was on board. Varner was talking her talks when he said, I wouldn't mind winning something. If we can get Ozzy out of here, maybe one of us can win an immunity necklace. And Sarah was definitely on board for that.
Well, and she agreed. Merge is coming soon, and we need to get out the big threats.
Yep.
So maybe she'd be willing to cut Ozzy's throat. That's
when we get one of the other lines from the next time on Survivor at the end of the last episode where she said that she'd be willing to do that. Yeah.
Yes. However, I did not...
As Ozzy was seen returning from the ocean with his Hawaiian sling in hand, he'd been out catching fish for him again.
I did not drink the Kool-Aid this time.
No, I definitely had Ozzy going. I thought, let's continue this line of getting rid of the big threats.
Well, of course you did, even though I've told you repeatedly that Varner was going this week.
Yeah, you say that like your predictions are always accurate.
Of course, I've told you that all season. Just because he's your USB fan.
Exactly.
So, but I did say it.
Okay, day 18, Community Challenge. It's another 2-day cycle this week in Survivor.
Yep.
Oh, and one of Drew's favorite words.
Yes.
Buoy, 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 buoy. It's about buoys. It's about buoys.
Boys.
So they're going to have to swim. They're going to have to pull a raft along. Then they're going to have to dive down and untie a bag and release the buoys or buoys.
I like buoys, Drew. I'm sorry.
Which will give them the 13 letters they need to solve a puzzle. Okay, so they start off, it's Ty, Zeke, Sarah, Ozzy versus Brad, Troyzan, Aubry, and Hali. Okay. And it's really no contest. No. Ozzy, who can hold his breath for over 3 minutes, dives down at every bag. Whoop, whoop, whoop,
I was still surprised that Brad... Because you have that momentum when you dive in from somewhere. And so I really was surprised he didn't get it the first time.
Yeah, but he didn't dive in. And this is...
He didn't?
No.
Oh, I thought he did.
No, well, this is the deal with having...
Why would you not dive in?
The mask. It's the mask. Ozzy knows to hold the mask when he goes in. So he puts one hand over the front of the mask to break that impact so it doesn't knock it off your head. Because we've seen people dive in with a mask before.
That's
and
true.
It's just like... Woof,
and lose it.
Gone, yeah. Just lost it, exactly.
Oops.
Yeah, and so Ozzy knows how to do it, and he doesn't, take a big high dive to do it. But yeah, so Brad had some difficulty. He couldn't get it. He has to dive back down a second time, and then he's just out. He's like, Aubry, you do the next one. And who did the third one? Troyzan?
I thought he did 2, and Aubry did 1.
Aubry did the middle one. I was thinking...
Oh, I thought she did the last one.
Okay, no.
Well, I don't know. We're going to have to go back and check that one.
All right. I don't know that it matters. Anyway, he has some difficulty with it, and other people on that tribe help out in that group.
And boy, Nuku they were way ahead. We were like,
plenty of time.
Oh, shoot. We both had them losing.
Yeah. So it didn't look good at this point, right?
Yeah, it didn't look good at all. And
they got started hanging the letters, and then they got stumped, huh?
Well, at least for our JSFL point. It wasn't looking good. But they sure blew that. Just could not figure that out.
Yep, wasn't coming at all. And Cirie and Michaela and who else? Sierra, they all jammed through it, and they ended up winning.
Yep, I think Cirie's actually the one that
figured out the word. That's
a
tough word. Metamorphosis?
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
That would not have just jumped into my head with Survivor.
Yeah, and it's not as theme-centric as you would think.
Yeah,
it
usually they are.
is,
It would
right?
be like immunity
It's just
or
a Survivor keyword.
Well, I guess they decided that would just make it too easy.
Mm-hmm.
And these are game changers. It has to be harder for them.
So they changed it, yeah.
Yeah, more metamorphosis. Okay, but Nuku does lose, and they're going to be off to tribal council. And Varner knows he's in trouble.
Yeah.
I like, though, that he said right in front of everyone, I know I'm in trouble, but I'd like a little time with each one of you this afternoon. And, he was, but then, of course, I didn't believe him. He said, then I'll be at peace. It's like, yeah, right. You're just going to scramble. Everybody knows you're going to scramble. So I think it's good to just be open and honest about it.
Well, and being calm and not being overly desperate about anything or panicked.
At that time
will help so that you can actually get time with everyone.
Yep.
Yeah, so they don't just shut you down. Yeah, I'd say up until this point on day 18, he had from every indication we had heard, a really good social game this time out. So... Well, he makes his case, right? He has a discussion with Zeke, and Zeke's very blunt with him and up front. He's like, well, I think it really is you.
Well, he went off with the Ozzy first, though, right? And that's when everybody scrambled to talk.
Yeah.
I thought that was good, too. They all said, okay, let's take this opportunity. And
sure, that's natural. It's the flip side of getting one-on-ones with everyone. You're leaving all the others together.
Well, and to Sarah's credit, she did pitch Ozzy.
Mm-hmm.
And but that wasn't in Zeke's plan. So all of a sudden, his final three with Varner, not looking so good for him.
Done the next day. I don't think it lasted 24 hours.
No, it didn't, because this was another 2-day. It was a 2-day episode, so no.
Well, that was it was night 16 to night 17, so it was a little over 24. Little over 24 hours, yeah.
Maybe. Okay, and who else wanted Ozzy? I forget who was it?
Well, Ty did at one point.
Well, yeah.
I'm sure he would still entertain the idea. Yeah, so Zeke has that discussion with Varner, and he lays it out for him, at which point Varner he's not happy. He's like, well, this guy Zeke, who I thought was my buddy, who I thought was just a little over a day ago was telling me that we were going to Final Three, is working both sides.
But he was at least honest with him and said, your chances are 50-50, but...
That didn't seem honest, given how the discussion seemed to be going. The thing that really set Varner off was that Zeke said... Well, and Zeke said, the girls are going to tell you you're okay.
Yeah.
And Varner...
That's what got Zeke.
Varner didn't believe that.
Varner didn't like that.
He just didn't believe it.
Well, it gave him something to use.
It gave him something to use, and it gave him a hint that something might not be as it was being stated. So he had, because he did have a good social game, because he had those discussions, he thought there might be something fishy about what Zeke just told me.
Well, obviously, nobody realized that he and Ozzy were scheming as much as they were. And the girls didn't realize that he and Ozzy talked about things that they weren't privy to, maybe.
Or were they? Who knows?
I don't know.
I mean, you have private discussions.
That's what it looked like when they were both angry.
You have private discussions with everyone out there, but I don't know that we had really seen a whole lot of that. So I don't know that there was that much different than any discussions Zeke had with other folks.
True, but it made Sarah was angry. Yeah. Andrea was angry about it too, but obviously they got over it at some point. I wish we could see all of the discussions, but I do know that they don't have time. But I would have liked to have seen them address Zeke about it.
Andrea didn't seem to have as much trouble with it as the next time on Survivor initially hinted. Because she said, yeah, Zeke's with us for this vote. Let's just get through this vote and get rid of Varner. And then we'll deal with Zeke and figure out how to manage Ozzy. Yeah. But Sarah seemed very concerned, right? That Zeke and Ozzy had bigger plans, and she wasn't a part of them, so... Well,
at least they were aware that there might be a problem coming
up. I think that it was a good thing for Varner to make that case to Sarah, and maybe he picked up on her. Maybe she shared about how she was looking at the game differently this time. And for Varner to be able to highlight, hey, this guy's deceiving you. He's hiding another alliance that he may value more than yours and his. And it's telling her, indirectly it's telling her, hey, you're not picking up on some of these things, which is her concern, right? That's her big goal, is to play differently and to play like a criminal, she said, so that she'll have her mind working in a different way. And this would just hit the panic button.
Well, and
her.
At this point, Varner is getting more desperate because he sees that Zeke's not with me. I thought at least he would be with me, and if we could convince a few others, we'd be good. But Zeke's not even with me.
Right.
So, like he said, he was going to, he was going to do a little damage.
I was worried when he said that, too, that there's this other deception going on beyond just the Zeke-Ozzy alliance thing. And, this is where things took a turn for the worst.
At Tribal Council.
Yeah, it just turned out very, very disappointing.
I managed to put it aside enough to get through to this point, but I was feeling really numb again, kind of like when Malcolm went home.
This is way different than that.
I know, and it was different, more traumatic, and all of that. It was more like.
And I'm not trivializing what you're saying. This is on a different scale.
I'm just saying. I just felt again like I had brain shock, and my brain just did.
Well, we left the end of the episode, and we're not doing things in order. But we left the end of the episode, and the only thing we could think about is what had just happened at Tribal, right?
Yes. Again.
So Varner starts off saying, yes, I'm next. From the conversations, I can tell that it's clear, and that's got Debbie going a little bit. She said, well, that makes me uneasy.
Yep, I'm on the bottom. I'm going, Jeff. No question.
Varner says, but they're not 6 strong, and if I was told during the day today when I was having these one-on-one conversations with folks, if I could get enough numbers, we could get rid of Ozzy, but there's a secret alliance between Zeke and Ozzy that's holding us up, and then Varner outs Zeke for being transgender, which is
that was such a shock.
It's a huge personal foul. My first instinct would, if I had been there with him, I would have wanted to hit him. That was, just such a dirty, rotten play, and I didn't think that Varner would go there. I just didn't think that was in his character.
Well, a lot of people knew.
Right.
It's not like it's not out. The information is out there.
Right.
But it's his choice to talk or not talk. Everyone's right.
Boy, that set everyone off.
And
right? Andrea, Ty, Debbie, all were just jumping on him.
Way more than what he expected, for sure. They weren't turning on Zeke.
In his defense about, it's just, he's willing to practice this deception. And I like that Probst just busted him hard. It's like this giant leap of logic, and you can't unring this bell. You don't get to have it both ways. You don't get to say you're sorry and then say that you felt like you had to do this because it's a game for $1 million. You don't get to play it off like this. And I think Varner, for a long time there, wasn't clear on what he had done and then the consequences of what he had done and why it was such a bad thing to do. He was desperate and he was trying to rationalize it, but he wasn't getting it for the longest time.
Well, I felt so bad for Zeke, because Zeke's not a person that you would think would ever be speechless.
Yeah.
And it's like
you could visibly see him shut down.
Oh, yeah.
Probst highlighted it.
Yes. Yeah. You could see him shut down, and like he just shrunk, wanted to hide behind a rock and just not deal with the issue. It wasn't what he wanted. It wasn't his choice to be.
He took that control away from him, yeah.
Yeah.
It was a power thing, yeah.
It was traumatic.
I'm with Ozzy. I liked when Ozzy chimed in and said, be ashamed.
Yeah.
Because you've done something shameful.
Yeah. And you need to feel that, because it is.
Varner said he was sorry, but he seemed very confused at this point still.
Well, I think he did realize that, I did something bad.
Well, I think Ty verbalized it for him when Varner couldn't seem to figure it out for himself. Ty said, Varner was so desperate that he crossed the line.
Yes, and he did, and he was. That's all true. I understand.
But Varner was still trying to make excuses for himself.
And I understand that.
His folks would know. His friends
nobody
would know.
wants to think that I just did a horrible thing. How could I have, and you try to, I'm sure he was trying to justify it in his own mind, but, these people forced him. There is no justification for that. You
Right.
did it. You went there. It's a bad thing you did. Live with it. You did it.
There are consequences.
Yes,
yeah.
I understand you were trying to fight for $1 million. You thought it was a big move. You underestimated all that. You thought it was okay, and
for
it
him
wasn't.
to have misread these folks so significantly that they would think this was a legitimate play in the context of the game.
No,
without
a
being around
personal
these
attack.
folks? Yeah.
No, not that there haven't been personal attacks on Survivor. There have.
Certainly have, yeah.
But that this is one of the more glaring ones, and there've been bullies, and that this
Zeke
was
recovered. He dealt with it really well.
Really
right?
well.
There's definitely
Yes.
a lot of maturity there, and he like recovered on a meta level because he incorporated the word from the immunity
Yes,
challenge
it's
back
metamorphosis.
into his explanation
know,
for what
that
it
was
means
just-
to him.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that it was really awesome, and I'm sure on the level of, everything happens for a reason type level, that this will work out to be a good thing for him in some way. I believe that because of how
You're
he
talking about
responded.
Zeke?
Yeah, for Zeke.
Sure.
Varner, not so much.
No.
People are going to look at him differently.
I
for
agree
that.
with Sarah. It was malicious.
You know,
and there are consequences for that kind of behavior.
I wouldn't treat Varner any differently because that's not me. I just wouldn't. I don't like what he did, but I wouldn't treat him any differently. But it does affect how
I'm
you
not as good
think
as you.
about. It does affect how you think about people, but I still wouldn't treat him. If I were to see him, I would treat him like I would anyone else that I saw. I would. But that's just me. But I'm so proud of Zeke and him being able to recover that quickly.
Yeah.
And I really felt like he was accepting it. He went into shock for a minute, I think, and wanted to hide and not deal with it. Oh, no, you didn't just do that to me.
Well, I think on some level he was prepared for it too, right? You don't
Yeah.
go out there with that and not have thought about that scenario, or you hope you don't.
Well-
and he's smart enough that it's a contingency that he had considered, I'm sure. That doesn't mean going through it doesn't shock you.
Well, in one way, I think he was hurt because like he said, I really liked him.
Past tense.
Yes, I was
Past
going
tense,
to. Yeah,
liked.
Yes, I was going to vote for him, but I genuinely did like him, as a person, and he probably still will. He was man enough to get up and give him a hug, and I respect all of that.
Yep. Probst says, we don't even need to vote, do we? And they said, no, we don't. Yeah. Probst's
No.
face said it all. He was not happy. He had the get out face on.
Yeah,
He was disgusted with him, I think.
Zeke rose to the occasion, but Varner did not.
Yeah.
And when have we ever seen? I think we have seen where they didn't vote. There was no need to vote, but that's
Sure.
pretty rare.
Yeah.
And
When people quit.
I think I missed the look that Jeff gave because you were like, "Oh, Jeff's angry too,"
It's that Austin
I tell you, who
quitter
got
look,
me?
but more. Yeah.
Sarah got me. That's when I started crying.
Yeah.
I was in shock at first, and I felt so bad for Zeke, and you just want to give him a hug, and and the girls too. They were just so upset. And I think that shocked Varner as much as anything. He did not see that coming. Not sure why he didn't see it coming, but he didn't see that coming for them to react toward him that way. So, okay, goodbye, Varner, and.
Way to poop the bed, Varner. You just pooped your whole Survivor legacy.
Okay, honey, a little too graphic for me.
Okay. Well, I toned it down.
I know you did, but
Okay.
still.
That's what he did.
Okay, yeah, and like I said, I felt more close to the people who reacted in defense of him, to Andrea and Sarah and Ty. To me that was kind of bonding because it showed another side of them and that they were genuinely hurt and upset for Zeke. And Sarah talking about her growth, being from the Midwest and not being around, and that it showed her how much growth. So, again, I'm sure everything happened for a reason, and that's some of the people will get something out of it, but I don't think it'll be Varner.
No, it doesn't seem like it.
Even though I know I'm sure he feels horrible. I'm sure he does, but...
Anything else you want to say about that?
No, I don't think so.
No,
it hurts my heart.
Yeah.
It just kind of leaves me with that.
Very disappointed in him.
Yeah. Well, I know you were, and you chose him for your USB.
Irrelevant. That's irrelevant.
Yeah, I know, but you're disappointed in him.
I had enjoyed him, and then he made such a horrible choice.
Yep, he did.
I mean, we all make mistakes, and some of them are really significant life mistakes, and we just got to see a fellow human make a horrible life mistake there. And
a bad judgment call. A very bad judgment.
Yeah, in front of, 9 million people, if not more, because it'll blow up more.
So, do you think, this is just a side thing, do you think that they asked Zeke?
Yes.
Whether they could air this or whether he wanted them not to air it?
I think they did. I don't know if that's true or not because he signed away that right.
Yes, they had the right to show it.
But I want to think that they were good about it.
And said...
And did the right thing and said, hey, do you want to do this or not? That's just my first thought.
Because they didn't have to. They
could have framed it a different way.
It would have been different, but they could have edited it enough that, they could have kept that under wraps if that's what Zeke had asked.
I want to think that they could have found a way, but I don't know. I don't even know if I want to ask or not, but we'll see.
Well, no. Well, I still think even though it's more public, it's still Zeke's right whether he wants to talk about it.
The reality, though...
if he wants to share. If you don't.
Well, the reality, though, is he signed all that away.
Well, I know
it's
he
a big
did
business.
for
It's
the
CBS.
Contract. Yeah, I know.
Right? So, maybe not. Companies aren't really known for doing that. Look at how United treats people. United Airlines. The first response from their CEO wasn't kind. So, more than likely, no, they didn't ask Zeke anything. But you'd
like to think they did.
Yeah, that's probably me being naive, though. Okay, done with Tribal Council. Next time on Survivor.
Maybe Jeff will bring it up at the finale or something, how it was handled.
Possibly. Next time on Survivor.
Merge
time. A scramble for power, they tell us. And Sierra, as she tips her fake cowboy hat, says there's a new sheriff in town. And she's talking to Debbie.
Well, alrighty then.
All right, it's merge time. So, what do you think about who we're left with at merge?
Let me see if I can think.
Yeah. Aubry. Well, first we're looking at Paul's roster, and something should stand out. What stands out the most?
There's more of one original tribe than the other?
Yes, by a large majority, huh? Original Nuku's got him, what?
Aubry,
9-4?
Hali, Michaela, and Troy.
Yeah, got him 9-4.
Against everyone else.
Yeah. So, I don't know if Aubrey's going to be able to survive if it's just so easy to pick them off, right?
Yep.
There are other alliances, of course, and Sarah was looking for alternatives, even though she's part of that big majority. Mm-hmm. But she was looking for a way to get herself to the top.
Well,
and
if they're
people
smart,
will be.
they're looking for alliances around every corner.
But 9-4 odds, those are hard to overcome for a while there. That gives you a long ride, right?
Yeah.
Even at 2-day cycles, that gives you over a week that you could be safe if you just hang with the original Nukus.
Well, and I really don't even know where Michaela fits in, if she really is in with her new group yet. Mm-hmm. Know if she's gotten bonds. They just didn't show us much about Michaela.
Nope.
Actually, she didn't say anything this whole episode, did she?
I don't recall anything standing out.
She got a shot, but no.
Yeah.
No confessionals, nothing that she...
Nothing outstanding, yeah. Nothing pro or con in that regard.
Well, here's the thing. At least I have one more episode before I have to decide to keep Aubry or not.
Yeah, I don't have that problem. I got to find a new USB. So I got to look at that middle bunch again in the bottom half and see where things sit. Most of that top half is knocked out, though, so fewer choices.
Yep.
Culpepper certainly got a great edit this episode.
Well,
he was
and
featured.
He's been playing pretty darn good, and I have to give him that. And I like him way better than the first of the season. So that should teach me not to judge.
Yeah.
So
I was thinking it was going to be more about using him as a tool to further your own game, but seems to have played quite a good game on his own.
I would still like to see the girls go, let's pick the rest of the guys off.
Could be. So Debbie's got an extra vote. Sierra's got an advantage, and next week's the first time she can use it. Because she wants to flip the script.
At 13.
And she was talking to Debbie when she was tipping that invisible cowboy hat and saying there was a new sheriff. So you're talking about an advantage and an extra vote if those two are aligning as they lay there in the hammock.
You know, the only good thing about Varner going home this week is that he's not going on to the jury. Because I think that would have just been so uncomfortable.
Yeah, it wouldn't have gone well for him, I'm sure.
Or, it would have just kind of been uncomfortable. And so they don't have to worry about that now. He was not the first on the jury. But next week should be, so...
All right, and then Troyzan's got an idol and Ty's got 2. I don't think there'll be any more that come up. But with Sierra's being the first time active, do you think she'll look to leverage it? Or should you take the easy ride?
I think if she thinks she needs it, she'll absolutely do it.
Because she doesn't get a chance again until 6, right?
Well, I think she'll hold it till 6 unless she thinks she doesn't have the numbers. Mm-hmm. If she needs it to get control of the numbers, I think she'll use it. Otherwise, I think she'll keep it till she gets to 6. Debbie's sitting on an extra vote.
Right.
Like you said, Ty with 2 and Troy with 1 idol. So there's a lot of things that could get kicked about in the game.
With Probe saying there's a scramble for power, then then there could be a lot going on next week. Whereas it numerically, it should be sort of straightforward. 9-4, take your pick. Aubry, Hali, Michaela, Troyzan.
Okay, we know that Brad and JT were supposedly tight from original Nuku, but what about Ozzy?
What about him?
Was he in with them, you think, or was he not?
I don't know.
Because Brad hadn't talked about Ozzy. It was just JT.
Yeah.
So have they not shown us, or were they not really tight?
I don't know. They showed Ozzy and JT talking several times, but
Brad has been more about kind of getting rid of some of those bigger people, too. So who knows?
Okay. Anything else you want to say about next time on Survivor?
Just that if that's a 2-pointer next week if it's first on jury.
Right. Okay. How about a JSFL update?
Oh, I can do that.
You're basically there.
I am there. Okay, there's now 2 people tied for first place in JSFL.
Okay.
There were 11 people who lost their USB 24.
Me.
Stacy. There's 114 of us who got a vote-off point this week.
I'm surprised it wasn't more.
Yeah. Well, I stuck with mine. I went back and looked.
I stuck with mine, too.
I did it early on Monday. You did yours today. Okay, and there were 42 people who lost a safe point. So 42 people thought he was safe.
Yeah, I did not have him safe.
You did not.
Okay. Never got a safe point off of him either, though. I was saving him, thinking he was going to have the game.
I put Cirie safe for the first time this week.
Nice.
I've been afraid to put her safe, but I was just...
Really?
I have been.
I don't think she's been at risk for a while, but...
I know, but I kept thinking she would be. So I didn't choose her.
I got 1 or 2 safe points
So
on
this
her
week
right now.
I thought, oh no, I'm just sure Varner's going to... And I thought, man, I could be in trouble but I didn't change it. So I finally got 1 point off Cirie.
Congratulations.
Side challengers. Nina is now in the lead with 29 points.
Okay.
With 28 points, Iron Dave and Jeremiah. 27 points, Cold Mike and Drew. With 26 points, we have Hubaloo, James and Shannon, Jonathan, Parker, and Stacy.
Yep, holding the middle.
And
for the
with
win.
24 points, we have Brandon and Seth.
Okay.
And with 22, Jody.
All right, there you have it. Well, we're headed into the second phase of the game coming up next. But we're really curious what you thought about what happened in this episode. Another tough one to deal with, for sure, for different reasons.
Yeah, next week is, will be the halfway show for the season. Seems like we should be further along than that for some reason. There's just been so much intense play, I guess. But Yeah, I have no idea who's going to go which way. Do you think Sarah and Andrea will stay close?
I think my head's kind of cloudy because Jeff goofed up so bad, right?
Yeah, I know.
Varner.
That's how I feel,
so
too.
I hadn't sort of taken the next natural step. So I'm really looking forward to the listener feedback show.
Yes, me
One,
too.
to get some other takes on Varner's mistake, other people's perspectives and thoughts, and then two, to get some ideas, some different ideas, different lenses to look at the second half of the game through. Because like I said, the most obvious one is, well, they're 9 Nuku to 4 Manas. But it's probably not going to go down that way since Probst hinted at a power struggle.
We also have to look at questions for Varner, which...
Yep, but that's something that we'll do for tomorrow. Right now, we need to talk about the listener feedback show, which is on Saturday. We're looking forward to hearing what you thought about it, how you viewed it, maybe some life experience that you can share to help us better understand things, or just at least something from your experience or how it impacted you watching the events in this week's episode. The voicemail line, 206-350-1547. The toll-free voicemail, 844-643-8737. The email, Joanne and Stacy Show at gmail.com. You can always find all of that at GetSFP, GETSFP.com. We're looking for 3 minutes max on the input on those thoughts. We've been having some really big, really interesting, entertaining listener feedback shows, but target that 3-minute mark. It's a lot to go through when we're hitting 20, 30 of these.
But awesome.
So keep that in mind. Yeah, we definitely like the diversity and all the different takes on what's going on. I think we, just like previous weeks, have already got some that have come in, right? You mentioned that you saw some in the email.
Yeah, we've already got about 3, and it's only been an hour out, but or by however long ago it was we watched it. But anyway.
Anything else?
Nope, I think that will, I've got to go try to let my brain
process that,
soak this up, and
we'll see if we can come up with some questions.
I know we both kind of have a sadness
for Varner. Yeah.
So okay,
just disappointed. So we need to practice being good windows for the interview, though.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah,
I can do that. You work on post production, and I'll work on questions.
Alrighty, have a good one.